Hi, Soul Urge Threes. Welcome back to Destiny Digits. Okay, so your soul urge talks about what motivates you, like what makes you want to do what you do, like what drives you. And as a three, you are a social butterfly. You're expressive and fun and joyous and creative. And so you are motivated by just having this push to be in the company of others, right? You bring joy. You're just a full package. You're smart. You're creative. You're unafraid to put yourself out there. People just really enjoy being in your space, right? You're just jovial. All right. So, first card that comes out is A Time for Healing, Balsamic Moon. Hold on, guys, for 1 second. I'm realizing the sun. Let me close. Okay, sorry, threes. Hopefully you can see now. The sun's kind of bright. Okay, so first card out is A Time for Healing. So, threes, normally we have to heal after we've gone through something that has wounded us in some type of way. So, we'll find out more about it. Next card says The End of a Tough Cycle Approaches. Okay, sweet threes. So, something has taken place. That one is full moon in Capricorn. We'll figure out more what you're going through and see what energy we can get. All right, we have Hold Your Vision. All right, and at the bottom of that deck, a win-win outcome is forecast. How beautiful is that, right? Whew. All right, threes, let's talk about it. So first card was A Time for Healing. Then we have The End of a Tough Cycle Approaches and Hold Your Vision. I'm just going to say sometimes we are being tested to see whether or not we are committed to what it is we are going after, right? And so sometimes the tests that we receive are, they consist of things that wound us or hurt us or things that almost try to knock us off of our path. And so listen, I feel like when we go through struggles, when life is almost pulling us down to the very bottom, the only way is to continue to look at the top. Just keep your eyes on the surface of the water. Don't stop. You know how like when you're underwater and you're swimming and you can see the sunshine peeking through the surface of the water? I feel like that's where when Spirit says hold your vision, it's like, listen, keep your eyes on the light. I know what you're going through is rough. But you got this. Like, you got this, okay? Let's make sure that healing is a priority. Let's make sure that we're taking care of ourselves because we cannot move forward if we are scattered all over. So we have to collect our energy, put ourselves back together, soothe ourselves, and attempt to stay focused on our priority. We have balance. It says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. All right. All right, three. So let's talk about what we just got from the soul's journey. We have service. I feel good when I can help others. Energy is contagious, threes, and that's what makes you kind of infectious. You have good energy and you prioritize smiling and laughter and joy. That's the energy that you naturally like to or are motivated to sit in. And because energy is contagious, this is what you bring to spaces. This is what people enjoy about your company, right? And so maybe that is your service. We'll keep going. But just being a three energetically does a great thing for a crowd or a room of people. Under service, we have forgiveness. It says, I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So when we're talking about a tough cycle, when this card said a tough cycle, the end of a tough cycle approaches, this is a cycle that includes the heart. This is a cycle that includes you and another. And you are being called to walk away from this cycle light and free. You know what that means? Your heart, as best you can, should be as light as a feather. And how do we do that? By choosing forgiveness over resentment, right? There's something that we went through that was necessary for our growth. And it doesn't feel good, and it can break and it can damage us in many ways. But somehow, some point at some time, we will discover why it was necessary. And it's not always immediately after. It can take some time, much time. But the only way to really take an honest and true attempt at healing is through forgiveness of self and forgiveness of others for experiences. All right, sweet threes, we'll keep going. Bottom of the tarot cup is Six of Cups. And so this talks about an energy of like nostalgia and past times and good old days, like the I remember when. You know, this talks about you having that memory, that sentimentalness in your mind, tapping into those inner child moments when everything just seemed to be innocent and true and pure. This also can talk about an energy from a past life where you had this connection with another person. And so when we're talking about past, we have to remember that time, we're not always talking about in this life, but we're just talking about something that our soul has experienced at another time that is vital to what we are going through in this journey. So sometimes we are rectifying, purifying, and recovering from old experiences and old energies that are still lingering around. And so we have to use our present life, our present vessel and body to kind of go through experiences to clear out energies. Okay. It's deep. It's a lot. And it doesn't feel good when it's heartbreak ever, And so these messages are messages to help us endure and to get through, right? So forgiveness, I acknowledge that harboring resentments blocks the blow of love. And that's it. This is all about love. That's what this life is. That's what keeps this thing going. And so nothing can ever stop us from remembering that. And so when we go through hard hard experiences and things that damage our heart, we have to remember that truth, right? We want love, we deserve love, and so we have to release things that are stopping us from getting there. And then we have perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. And so, you know what? This is like an overcoming. Just the energy so far is about you overcoming something. This is about being, pulled down to the darkest depths of the ocean. That's what the experience could have fallen like. But then at some point, you're released. And it's the way you rise to the top that matters. It's the way you pull yourself up, pull yourself together that matters, right? The beliefs that you have when you take that first breath, what you tell yourself, how you treat yourself, how you speak to yourself after you go through darkness really matters. So let's jump in, threes. So in the center, this is kind of like the energy that kicks off everything that's going on right now. So let me just make note. The first card out in the Numerology card was a time for healing. And then we have the star. And that's what the star talks about. It talks about rebirth, renewal, you know? Um, it talks about the possibility of what's to come. Right? It's in that massive dark sky, you have the star. And it's about knowing that no matter how dark things have been, there's always the star that you can always find a star. And so this is about finding your star and hanging on to it no matter what we've been through. On the other side on each side of the star, we have a Page of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. And so let me just say this. The central message from Spirit is listen, hang on to your star. The end of a tough cycle approaches, okay? So do you see she has her star on a string? figuratively, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. Speak this, draw this in your journal. Draw yourself holding onto a string with whatever your star is, because the end of a tough cycle is approaching. And know that the opportunity in the star can now be pulled closer, right? Now there's more work to do, but hope and faith should be a priority. The Page of Cups, a page is a youthful energy. It's about not really having matured in our emotions. And so this is an energy, on an opposite side. And so when Spirit says that a win-win outcome is forecast, I think Spirit is asking you to lighten your heart and to realize that the ability to fall in love with life and with experiences and with people and places and things is always there, right? And so no matter what we go through, we always win, because it's just our own growth. It's just a lesson that will give us a gain elsewhere, right? And so when one experience pulls us down, when that ends, when we can leave it without resentment, when we can forgive it for pulling us down, we can move into a new experience that will most likely push us up, give us a boost up. Right? It will help us as we elevate and ascend. It will be an opposite energy. And so we have to be kind of moving through this with hope and faith, with a light heart, right? And so I feel like Spirit is saying, listen, a win-win, you're only going to win, right? And so how can you win? How can you remember that? How can you remember that when we're going through tough cycles? How can we keep our heart light and engaged? How can we know that the possibility of love and partnerships and quality experiences are still out there, right? Spirit is saying right now, as you're in this space of holding on to your star, attach forgiveness to your heart, right? You have to acknowledge that all these experiences are to push you closer to love, right? And so if you were to do anything right now, we have the Eight of Pentacles, and this is about focused work. This is about in being intentional about what you're working on, what your craft is, what's important to you. This is really choosing where you direct your energy. And so I feel like you are being pushed to focus on self, to focus on growing yourself, to be courageous as you approach something that you want to see bring some type of gain, right? Um, all right, we'll keep going, threes. So beneath the star, we have the High Priestess. How beautiful. The High Priestess is about knowing what you know, right? So you are social butterflies. You're very good at expressing and communicating. But the High Priestess energy is about knowing what you know, nobody needing to tell you. You were never told, you never had to read it. It's about something that is resonating within. This is like that download that is just vibrating within you. And so when Spirit says, hold your vision, it's because you're in the intuitive energy of the High Priestess, where no matter what you go through, you just know what you know. You know there's more. You know there's a star, right? You know that you can get through. You know that you can overcome. You know that you're going to elevate and gain no matter what it looks like. And so your intuition strengthens in darkness, right? Because when we can't see, when things don't make sense, when we're going through situations that have pulled us totally outside of our comfort zone and our character, something else has to kick in. And that's our intuition, and that's our direct phone line to Spirit. That's like picking up the phone and be like, yo, Spirit, I don't know what's going on, but it's crazy down here. I need help. What is it that I'm not seeing? What can I tap into? What can I hang on to? Like, that's that High Priestess. It's not a conversation with anyone, but is it a conversation inside of self through the intuition with Spirit, with the other side, right? But it's acknowledging and knowing that you have that ability, and that is what gives you the hope and the faith when you are going through struggles. Now, on opposite sides of this High Priestess is a Four of Swords and a Three of Swords. Okay. And so Four of Swords literally talks about healing, recovery, and much needed rest, right? Now, we literally have a time for healing. That was our first card that came out. And so that's what the Four of Swords is. It's saying, in order for us to understand and to lighten our heart after tough cycles, we have to we need to take a break. We need to rest. We need to collect ourselves. We have balance. It says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. And so this is not judging yourself for needing time to repair, to reflect, to heal, right? This is about needing to stabilize. Sometimes we go through situations that leave us in fragments. Now we have to walk around, we have to collect ourselves, and then we need time to rebuild ourselves, and that's okay. And so this is unapologetically building self, right? And so intuitively, you need to know that that's what you need to do right now. Your healing is a priority for your gain. Three of Swords. I mean, this is the direct card for heartbreak, pain, you know? I mean, that is the card. And so threes, we have forgiveness, we have healing, we have a tough cycle, we have balance and perseverance. And so it is quite clear that you have overcome or are going through or at the tail end of something, right? And so perseverance, what is a message? What are the messages that Spirit has said to your soul so far? Forgiveness, now perseverance. What does that mean? It means I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. And so listen, you know, love, relationships, tying ourselves to things that we are passionate about. Sometimes it seems like our heart can be ripped from us when they don't go the way that we so wanted them to go, right? People, places, and things sometimes show us a whole new side of themselves. And sometimes we have to push ourselves through. And how do you push yourself through? By maintaining the vision. Whatever I set my mind to, I can have. I thought that this was the experience that was going to bring me what I have, but it brought me the opposite. I accept it, but I'm not done. I'm not done, right? And so when I say I'm not done, that means I'm moving on. And when I move on, I'm focusing. I'm giving my attention and my time to something that I want to see grow. I want to see expand. I'm turning my direction into something practical, right? And I'm also forgiving. When I turn my back, I'm forgiving. I'm not taking any pieces of pain with me. I'm going to leave those, but I'll definitely take the wisdom. So we're holding on to the star. And where does the star take you? Above the star is the Queen of Wands, right? And so the Queen of Wands is an energy of really being this magnet for success and for charm and charisma and passion. This is about being a fighter and overcoming, right? This is about having a force that is just unstoppable. And you can count on that force no matter what comes your way, right? And so that's the energy. This is like the leveling up that you're moving into. And how do you step into this Queen of Wands? It is through healing. You have to put self back together and prioritize you in order to rebirth and to come out in this energy where you will possess this power. This Queen of Wands has her wand raised, but then in her hand, she understands what she possesses and it excites her, right? She understands it. And her wand means she has vision for what to do with it. She understands the direction that she wants her life force to flow, right? And the black cat talks about mystery, mysticism, right? This is something that is uniquely, divinely assigned to her. And only she can do what she needs to do with it. But she has to heal that. And I'm saying she, but I'm meaning us, they, them. It is the energy, right? It is the energy we're talking about. Surrounding the Queen of Wands, we have the Five of Wands and the Two of Wands. All right. So let's talk about this. So the five is change, it's freedom, it's expanding, it's growing, it's taking a risk, it's adventure, right? But these adventures, this change, this freedom is happening through conflict, through clashing of energy, which doesn't have to be bad, but it's almost like sparring. Sometimes in life, it'll feel like we're sparring with people, places, and things. It feels like energies are back and forth, and we will have to apply pressure. We will have to use some strength to get through situations, right? And so that's on one side of the Queen of Wands, and that lines up with the Six of Cups. The reason why, I talked about Six of Cups not only being about past relationships and connections and times in life where we can apply our innocence and just our love, right? I'm also talking about energies from past life that we have in this life. And so when we're talking about Six of Cups and being able to tap in to our inner child, sometimes we may not be able to do that because we've been conflicted based on past situations and experiences with people in this life or another life. And so, in order to heal and in order to tap into our inner child, we have to go through certain struggles to strengthen us to come out and to wake up in order to purge this energy. And so, what we've endured in this life and in past lives was for our own growth, but it does require us to heal, right? And it's almost like you have to be broken to heal, but then in order to heal, you have to be broken again. And all of it is a necessary role in our journey. Not comfortable, but we should always hope to understand it so that we can really begin to master it, right? And so on the opposite side of the Queen of Wands, we've got these struggles, but we're prepared, right? We're rectifying past energy. It's growing us, it's strengthening us, it's allowing us to heal probably aspects of earlier versions of self in this life or another. And then we have the Two of Wands. This is where we've gotten through these struggles and they've given us insight into what we have, what we can do, what we possess, right? And it's when we know who we are and what we have that we step into this Two of Wands. This is when we look out this window and we're making a plan. We've got a map. We know the vehicle, we know the transportation that's required. We've got our wands, that's our momentum, that's our passion, that's our purpose, that's our spirit, our soul. And so this is looking out and saying, what is it that I want to see? If my life was directly outside of this window, what would I be looking at? If my life were a show, what would that look like? And then we make a plan that takes us to that show, that takes us to that vision of our life. And so that's what you're moving to, but it seems like you've had to go through the dark in order to keep hold of your light, your star, but your star is leading you to your plan and your power. But you did have to go through the dark. And what helped you in the dark? It was your intuition. It was your knowing. It was your vision that you never lost connection to what you knew to be true about you, your life, what you deserve, what you want to experience, right? We have service. I feel good when I can help others. And there could have been a situation in the past where you were committed to something that you wanted to help, but maybe your efforts were taken advantage of and abused in some kind of way. But this is about you overcoming, making a plan to focus on the things that that are important to you, really deciding what you are going to work on. Forgiveness does take work. And in order to plan and to make your plan come alive, you have to free yourself from anything of the past that just can't go and grow with you. And so I feel good when I can help and serve others. That's a part of this plan that you're making. You want to be a service to others. There's something that you want to bring to the world and do. And so that's what you're focusing on after coming out of this wounded heart experiences. And it's all yours. It's all yours, right? And so this is where you continue to dream. This is when you realize that I'm only going to win. It was rough, but I can only win, right? You forgive yourself and you forgive others. All right, threes. Thank you so much for stopping by. Take care.